software-defined WAN and virtually extensible local area networks, and encapsulation, defined, software-defined wide area networking, such as like using CASB and cloud systems, making like remote resources appear part of your local WAN, or like Office 365, etc. But some people want to define, have software-defined controls on their local area network because they basically want to be able to have, VLANs and stuff like that that segment part of the network, but then, the management people can see into the whole of the network, or certain teams can see into pieces of the network. But they also want to protect and segment other pieces of the network, such as like accounting or other crown jewels, or like the backup systems, so they can come online, the systems can see the backup systems when they're appropriately defined. The backups can run, and then basically when the backup systems are no longer needed, they can quarantine them back off.
Right.
That way, like during, 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, the ransomware attack can't see the backup systems and infest them too. Or will appropriately tag a system that has suspected ransomware and throw it onto a quarantine network that can't see much, and then someone can go deal with it. Wireless networking, Wi-Fi is new technology for light network. Like the Z-Wave type stuff, your alarm systems at home use it, like some of the small businesses use stuff like that. Unfortunately, like some of the Bluetooth protocol, like door locks, some of them can also use Zigbee and stuff like that, and can turn off your alarm if they're opened with the right, code. But how do you know it's the right code? Because some of the, Bluetooth Wi-Fi recently has hacks to it. And you can play the same attack back with a cell phone, so not hard. So it's like my stepson wanted me to get one of them Bluetooth locks from the store, the hardware store, and I'm like, no.
Yeah, you
like,
need a good vendor for that.
I was like, no. He goes, why not? I'm like, if I live 30 miles in the country, maybe. But here in the apartment complex, no. And he's like, why? And he goes, well, why? And I'm like, I showed him the article, and he's like, oh, crap. I'm like, the guy upstairs can sit in his living room and be within reception range of that door lock. Might take him 3 weeks, might take him a month, but open sesame. Do you really want that? If I was 30 miles out in the middle of nowhere, okay. But, someone's usually not, the chances of someone coming up to my door on some like 5-acre farmhouse and, on the outskirts of town would be low. And, a bit lower there. But like in an apartment complex, yeah, they can just keep spoofing, smacking, and stomping on it all day. 5G is an interesting beast. It potentially has, you can pretty much, soon 5 or 10 gigs in the city would be very easy. And a lot of IoT devices can now get 5G hats. So, if you're a red team operator, 5G is looking really lovely for you. You can have Kali Linux, a nice desktop with a nice GUI interface. And best of all, I've got it plugged into your network, baby. What more could you want? Or I've got a couple antennas in your cafe, and you got Starbucks over there, and everybody sees the nice, pretty Starbucks Wi-Fi, and I'm spoofing it, and I'm giving out
Hmm.
the dreaded Facebook that y'all don't want me to give out, and my Wi-Fi, pumpkin software is giving, making sure that all the gifts have Metasploit leased into it. Good time. But, if 5G offer, like if you're the attacker, then, 5G offers you much. But, it can offer, like if you're a small business out and has a site office out in the country, or you have emergency backup, also 5G offers you quite a lot for a emergency backhaul. So it's just like, if you have a wireless protocol analyzer that can see, then, want to make sure that if you have a 5G, no 5 or 4G node in your building, that's basically for networking, that it's yours and not, Mr. Joe Schmo pen testing company that you may or may not have hired to audit you.
Hmm.
That would be a tactic I would employ. So you can get 5G for Raspberry Pi and or like Odroid, like now. It's expensive,
Ah,
but
interesting.
6Fab's got them in 4G, but then they've got some that are 5G now. This one's got a 5G hat. Um, you know, Zytel automatically makes ones for it. And, the guy who runs Dallas B-Sides also runs Telesplate. He'll send you a pen. Basically, he won't send you pen testers to your building. He'll just ship you a Kali Linux in a box that's been cloudified. They'll give you a nice audit report.
Hmm.
So they ship you a jump box. But I'm just saying, if you want to make the nice Raspberry Pi style jump box or an Odroid jump box, it's got 8 gigs and a 5G modem. If it's close enough to your window and I can hide it behind a server cabinet, I can, just like that nice little fish tank hack that I showed you a moment ago in Vegas, you could literally hide it underneath the floorboards. Bob's your uncle. So you could take, instead of having the big beefy little, uh, Dell, XPS little mini, tower that he ships you, can have something the size of a credit card and, a few antennas, hiding out. That does the same thing as this, and uses your own C2C. He just basically rents you the you know stuff. But for backups, it offers good things. For if you have like a router and you need emergency failover, it's great. But then you have to also make sure that you can do like a cell phone audit of your stuff if you're using a cellular network as an emergency backover, because the rogue device possibility. You might have to have basically the security take everybody's cell phones for a day, and then you know make sure they're off, and do an audit once in a while. Just make sure you don't have any rogue 5G or 4G devices tapping your network. Content distribution networks. A lot of places will do that now. You will use like a third-party content distribution network for file delivery. Uh, they usually have lots of bandwidth for doing it. Uh, they can push them out faster, and you don't have to have like a special web host to do so, or maintain your own web hosting for it. You can basically have like your continuous delivery published to them. And they'll make sure your users can download rapidly, such as, you know, a few other third-party services that specializes in CDN. Secure network components.
I've not heard of an OMG cable.
OMG cables are the variety of bad USB. They look all pretty, don't they? Anyway, they have like a little adapter fob that puts them in arming mode. In other words, they're a rubber ducky, disguised conveniently as a charging cable. If you ever go to Black Hat and plug your phone into the nice free charging station there, you will quickly be on the wall of sheep. They will own your phone and everything on it. I guarantee it. So, as like a lot of places, you would want to tell your people take your own damn charging cables. Make sure that you get your nice cables from Amazon or .com or like Best Buy, and not KGB or us. We spy on you, because easily done. That like some of these have kits. It's where you can even also have the detectors that you can get for security. The OMG malicious cable detector, because you can make your own. A lot of these, if you can get like a new USB bracket and solder it in, they're not that big of a chip. So other rogue networks, I've got a few of these. Basically a USB rubber ducky with a Wi-Fi access point. Basically send a payload on there, and then if you want to inject more, you can just, as long as you're within range, you can just sit across the thing, log on to the access point that's baked into the server, and keep sending stuff to the secretary's computer. For red team, useful. For blue team, gives you a bad day. But for like any cyber education, yeah, don't ever use like the charging station kiosks, and because never know. These cables look very legit on the surface. They're a bad USB. They're pretty much ready to go. It's basically just a shrunken down USB rubber ducky. It's got the same similar chipping architecture, basically on those cables. So, as a security thing, for your users, if you're ever giving cyber education, I would say that take your own charger, take your own cable, get them from a